Hi everybody, welcome back to the cabin. Sean James here from My Self-Reliance. I'm sitting by a fire out in the woods today because a couple of reasons. One is that I spent the first half of the day out looking for deer in the backcountry wilderness of Canada. There's an outdoorsman in the UK with a YouTube channel called Hayes Outdoors, and he started this challenge to get men to start talking about mental illness openly. And he created a challenge called Show Me Your Steak Challenge. So what he's doing is encouraging people to go out into the forest and cook up a steak and then just talk about men's mental health and mental illness and how that's affected their lives, and then encouraging people to talk about it and passing the torch on to a couple more people so that they can spread that message as well. I think it's a very good message. So I was happy that I was tagged. As you know, I'm living this lifestyle, sort of my dream life, and you know, I'm finding that it's not only healthy physically but also mentally and emotionally and spiritually. So I'd like to talk about that often on my channel and on my other social media platforms. So yeah, I'm honored to have been tagged, and I'll tag a couple of guys at the end of this video as well. Now, this is the second video. I'm actually releasing 2 videos because I do think it's that important. Plus, I was cooking a steak in the cabin last night anyway, so when I heard I was tagged, I thought, good opportunity to talk about that as well. So if you want to check out that video, I'll put a link in the description below where I tag a couple other guys. So I'm going to tag 4 people, 2 in that video, 2 in this video. So I think this is timely. This is November 10th today, so I'm going to quickly edit this video on probably Sunday morning on November 11th. And that happens to be not only Veterans Day in the US and Remembrance Day here in Canada. I'm sure it's celebrated or acknowledged around the world because it signifies or it's anniversary of the date of the end of the First World War. It's called armistice. There was an armistice agreement signed between Germany and the Allies that ended the First World War. So very timely in that a lot of men's health, a lot of men that end up with mental anguish or illness is a result of post-traumatic stress disorder, which is you know, something that often veterans end up with, and people in you know, police force and firefighters and ambulance drivers and things like that. Because you see so much trauma, you end up with you know, having a hard time coping with regular life. So I get a lot of messages from people who watch my YouTube videos in particular who suffer from mental illness or stress disorder, and why they reach out to me is because they find what I'm doing very relaxing and it allows them to de-stress. And I'm so happy to be able to do that, some small part that I can play in helping people cope. But you know, I'm amazed how many people not only following me on social media or watching my YouTube channel, but in my personal life as well. I'm amazed at how many people actually have some kind of either mental illness in the form of, say, anxiety or depression or stress disorders, number of things. Some of them are circumstantial, and some of them are a result of trauma or genetic, biological, or chemical, or what have you. Doesn't matter what the reason is, the outcome ends up being the same. And unfortunately, a lot of men end up not talking about it, and they end up committing suicide. 75% of the suicides worldwide are men, as opposed to 25% who are women, and that equates to about 500,000 men per year commit suicide, which is a staggering number. So unfortunately, there's a stigma attached to mental illness or inability to function fully in society. It can be seen as a form of weakness, or a lot of people look at it as a form of weakness, and a lot of men are guilty of that, of imposing their beliefs on somebody else or posturing themselves and then looking down on other people. And it's ridiculous, because we all have our issues one way or another, in one form or another, and picking on somebody else because they have an issue is just absolutely unfair and just unkind. And I think it's time to change that. I'd like to speak openly on my channel about emotions, which is odd for a guy who does what I do. So there's a tendency for people to think that guys that they would consider either macho or whatever term you want to use, people who do very masculine things like what I'm doing here, you know, hunting and fishing and building cabins and living in the outdoors kind of thing, and sports that I played before, so very masculine activities. So there's a tendency just to assume that people like me are don't have any mental issues or anxiety or depression or anything else. I think everybody has some form of something. For me, I think anxiety would be my issue, and you know, it's not debilitating, but it has been debilitating for me in the past. This platform has allowed me to start opening up about things like that, and nobody's attacking me for that. Nobody's, I don't think, thinking less of me for showing my vulnerability. In fact, I think that's part of what people are connecting with, and why the YouTube channel has been successful, that I'm able to express myself fully without being judged. So I'm going to provide links in the description below, and then probably in the top pinned comment, with links to mental health associations in various areas. And I'm hoping some of you guys can also comment and give me some other resources that I can pin as well. But I think more importantly, for me, the message that I want to convey is that, yes, there's professional help, and certainly seek that if you have any kind of mental illness or mental health issues. But I think even more important is to reach out to the people that you love, the people that are in your life that can help you through that. I think it's so unfortunate that we don't think that we can talk to our friends and family about what's going on in our heads without feeling judged, and then to go and do something as drastic as commit suicide or something else that could be prevented, I think is so unfortunate. I feel that bottling up emotions and thoughts is extremely harmful and should be avoided at all costs. So when somebody does something, or commit suicide or something, without anybody even knowing that there was an issue to begin with, I think that's the most tragic thing there is. So what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to say here, is that I'm encouraging guys to open up to your friends, open up to your family, and even guys sitting around a campfire, a hunt camp. Here's some hunters moving in the area for deer season next week, second week of deer season. All those guys sitting around drinking, maybe not in front of the whole group if you don't feel comfortable, but if you have a friend there that you can talk to about what's going through your head, I think just do that. But I also encourage men that don't have mental health issues to open up your mind and accept that, and don't judge somebody for opening up or showing their weaknesses or their vulnerability. And I think that would go a long way to preventing a lot of unfortunate circumstances. So obviously there's a ton. That's an endless conversation. I could go on, but I'm trying to keep this short. But feel free, please, to comment below. Continue to send me your private messages on Facebook Messenger, Instagram message, email. You can comment through here privately. I'm open to that. I'm more than happy. I can't get back to everybody, of course, but I listen to you. I hear your stories, and I encourage you to not only seek help, but give advice wherever I can, for whatever that's worth. So let's continue this conversation. I'll continue to create the videos that I always create, and I'll continue to talk about what's going through my head and people that I know. And I'd like to have this open platform where we can talk about this openly. I got to get this steak on. In the meantime, it's cold. These coals are starting to die down to the point where they might not be hot enough. it gets done. Oh, I don't know if I threw my knife away. So obviously I bought this elk steak. I didn't shoot it myself and then label it. Now, elk is one of my favorite meats, but it's something I've never been able to hunt because they just reintroduced them the past few decades here in Ontario, Canada. They were eliminated back 100 years ago or something, for the most part. And it's hard to get it tagged. There's only a few allocated each year for now. So it's on my bucket list. It's one of the things I'd like to do in the future, but for now I need to go to a special, or I order it from a special butcher, any game that I don't have access to. So part of the reason I bought this steak in particular though is because I want to tag somebody who I know has been elk hunting recently and eats a lot of wild game and feels strongly about hunting in particular, and a number of men's issues as well. So I think he's a great guy to tag. I don't know if he will do this challenge or not. A little bit below him maybe, but the message is not. I think if we can get him to spread the same message that Hayes started and that I'm continuing, then I think the audience would be much broader, and maybe we can get more traction with this thing and get more people talking about men's mental health. And more important than just mental health is speaking about it and not feeling ostracized, and not ostracizing men for being open about their feelings. And it's going to be a good steak, I think. Perfect. That's a big hunk of outside fat on that, but is that ever good? I like fat anyway, but when it's cold like this and I'm burning a lot of calories, that fat is more important than the protein. Tender. If you haven't tried elk and you get an opportunity, definitely take it. It's really, really good. That's perfect for me. Yeah, look at that fat. Calories. You know, I eat a lot of game. And lately you've been seeing me cook a lot of game on the channel, like bear and moose, a deer, fish of course. What have I cooked? Goose or duck. And what else? I got some rabbit coming up and a couple other things. But I have to say that's probably the best that I've tasted this year. Now it's a farm raised, but still different than beef and other animals. So it's really, really good. It's part of what I was thinking with tagging Joe Rogan too. It's not only that he would get the message out to a bigger audience, but also this is not, doesn't have to be restricted to YouTube. I think Instagram is maybe easier for some guys like that who are busy. Joe, if you do end up watching part of this, just to cook a steak inside your house or whatever, and I don't know if you actually go out into the woods like this. You probably don't have time now, but maybe when you're hunting you could do something like this. took a stake and talk about mental illness, and just telling your buddies to open up a little bit more about it. Stop hiding in the closet, and you know, by doing it inside though, maybe that's more accessible, especially at this time of year, post hunting season and colder temperatures. Another couple of guys I would tag if they'd be open to it. I know they follow me on Instagram. One is Donald Trump Jr. I'm not political, so this is not a political post, and I'm not going to talk about the politics behind it, or behind Trump, but he's an outdoorsman and a good family man. So those are the things that I connect with him on, and he does a lot of hunting and fishing, so I'd love to see him do something like this too and talk about it. And the other guy is Keegan Allen. He's an actor from the American actor, lives in California, and he and I go back and forth a lot on Instagram. He has a cabin that is, well, his mother lives in a log cabin as well, up in the mountains, and if he wants to go out into the forest and do something like that, I'd encourage you, Keegan, to do something like that. I think if you could get the message out too, to get your buddies and all your fans and followers on Instagram and your career in general to be more open about men's mental health, and that mental health for anybody, but we're focusing on men right now. So if you're willing to do that, that'd be awesome if you could spread that message. And again, if you don't want to do it on YouTube or don't have a YouTube channel, then Instagram or Facebook, same thing. That message would get out there that much faster. This is just in time. I'm getting a bit of a chill from staying still for too long. That wind's starting to pick up again too. So I'm going to finish this up and I'll go out for another hike. See what I can see out there. And then go back to the cabin and stoke that fire.